Hey guys, this is SF and it's a new commentary video for the new Hatcher monsters that came out on the Monster Fest this today. There are 5 and the theme is Monster Rangers. Oh god, but this is the start of a new series of new abilities actually. Back when Monster Strike was in Japan, they didn't have they started having mines and started having drones and stuff like that. So they created monsters uh, just to have a good advantage on them. So there are 3 5-star monsters and 2 4-star monsters. I'll be going through the 2 4-star monsters first. The English names are really weird. I like the Japanese names a lot better. All I remember was the green one is it's called Rad Swagger. I'm like WTF, but it has nothing to. It has no correlation to the Japanese name. So like in Japanese, the red one's called Lily, second one's called Yukina, third one's Tony, fourth one is Philip, and fifth one is Yuzuru. And yeah, bad English names bad English names. So let's go to the 5 monsters, starting with the 4 stars. The first 4-star is the water one. She is a minesweeper, a bounce, first minesweeper in correlation order, like in real order of the number in the Monsterpedia. Her strike shot is first enemy contact and then a knockup, and then lock on shockwave 3 for the bump combo. Not very strong pre-evolve, but let's look at her evolve version. Now there's an ability called Minesweeper. That's the same from her pre-evolve. Now there's a gauge ability called a Fire Slayer. So what this is, a gauge is when you have a bar on top when you prep up for a strike for a shot, and then there's a bar going back and forth, and then once you hit the last section, there are 4 sections. Once you hit the last section, it's called Fantastic, and then once you hit Fantastic, you get that gauge ability for that shot. So you hit the Fantastic for this monster in particular, you get a Fire Slayer. So what Fire Slayer is that it is 1.5 times more damage to all fire attribute monsters. It is very strong as an ability itself, but on her, not that much. But it is a 1.5 times for the ability and times 1.3 on her attribute strengths. So you multiply that. I don't know how much that is, but it is like 2.3 something. I don't know. But strike shot is a gravity barrier destroying ability, so that's why she's not that good. She's like a Hemlin, but she is a non-gravity barrier monster. Like she's not a no gravity barrier monster, so that it is good for her because she can move around and stuff afterwards, but not that strong. Stats are really mediocre, but it is a 5-star monster. Bump combo is a lock-on shockwave 6. She is a keeper in my mind. She is a support character basically. If there's a lot of mines, if you're running through normal dungeons and you have a fire, if you're running fire on Tuesdays at the fire mine dungeon on the very last one, then she is a very good sub. But I think that's all they use for her basically, unless if you have nothing better in terms of water monsters and you are facing a fire monster that throws up mines, then she is a very good pick. Now for the next one is the Dark, the last of the 4 stars. He is a flight and a drone breaker. Before he had a shield breaker, which does like the triangular shields that like with the tip pointing down. Now you have a drone breaker, which is like a triangle piece of machinery, and then the point pointing up, and it does and it shoots out damage balls and stuff. This one also destroys the machines that throw out warp zones. Not the monster, the warp zone, but the machine that throws out warp zones. Piercing monster, so is very good. He is very good in terms of if you have a dungeon that have a lot of drones. Basically, the Galahad or the Jupiter of drone breakers. Very fast as well. He has a ton of speed, and his strike shot is a speed up as well. Cross laser S for bump combo. Let's look at his evolved. Abilities are the same: piercing, speed, lots of speed, and then a speed up and a power up for a strike shot and a cross laser M. So this is the drone breaker version of Galahad or Jupiter. He is very useful in some dungeons. In a lot of dungeons, there's a lot of drones, so he is a keeper in my mind. More of a keeper than the water one, but it's up to you guys if you can live out damage walls or warp zones, because his stats are very weak. So let's look at the 5-star monsters. There are 3 of them. Let's start with the first one. Fire one. Piercing, no gravity barrier. She is a speed type, so she has a lot of speed. Strike shot is a power up for pre-evolve, and cross laser M for bump combo. Now she can evolve and ascend. Let's look at the evolved version. Evolved version, she has a flight and added onto her no gravity barrier. Same piercing, a ton of speed, over 440, and a lot of power as well. 25, over 25 after plussing. Strike shot is the same as Margaret in her pre-evolve form. If she hits a weak spot, it does a lot of damage. Bump combo, cross laser L. Now let's look at the Ascend version before I tell you which one I prefer more. Ascend version. Abilities are the same: flight, no gravity barrier, piercing. Still have a lot of speed and power, but a lot on a HP. The evolved version has a very low HP. Strike shot is the same, and vertical laser S added to her bump combo. So who I like more on this one is actually the evolved version, because although her HP is weaker, she has more attack and more speed than her ascended version, and it works better with her strike shot, because first, her strike shot depends on her attack, which is hitting weak spots because it scales off her attack. Second off, she has a lot more speed, and for piercing, which is very, very important for piercing characters to have a lot of speed. And since her strike shot is hitting a weak spot, she can, since she's a piercing, she can pass through the weak spot multiple times. There's not a monster like that. Like if you play with the pre-evolved version of Margaret, she's a bounce character, so most likely you get 1 or 2 shots at most, depending on where you are. But since she's a piercing with a lot of speed, you can probably do 2 or 3, depending on how many monsters are in between. If it's just a boss, you can get like 3 or 4 passes onto that weak spot and deal a lot of damage. So I like her in her evolved form. Whether she's good for other dungeons, it's kind of a dip. She's not that good in the overall all the monsters in terms of all the fire monsters. But if you only have her for a fire monster, she's pretty good in NA. I think I like her more than No, depending on how well you play both of them. But if you have like later on, when you get like better fire monsters, she kind of drops off later on. I think right now in NA, she's in par with No. She beats out Lancelot X by a lot. She beats out Sanada because she doesn't have Ascension yet. She beats out Linzu because Linzu doesn't do much anyways. So yeah, fire monster, she's kind of on the top tier right now, but after a few months later, she will fall off. Now let's look at the green one, Rad Swagger in English. Wow, I will never forget that name. Why did you choose that name, NA? So no gravity barrier, bounce, okay stats. He is a blast type monster. So what blast type monsters are is that their bump combos have crazy amount of attack, a crazy amount of power. Strike shot is the same as Harley X, AoE damage on the first contacted enemy, and vertical laser L. Now he can ascend and evolve too. Let's look at evolve. Abilities didn't change, stats just improved by a bit. Same strike shot, same bump combo, but just L instead of M. Let's look at the evolve, the ascended version. Now he's a no gravity barrier plus a Fiend Slayer on his gauge shot. Same strike shot, same bump combo with cross laser S added on. For me, I like the evolve version as well. Stats wise, this guy has more. He has more attack, more HP, more speed, I think. If I check correctly. He has more the Ascend version has more HP, but the Evolve version has more attack and speed. The Ascend version has only like a few hundred more attack, more HP. Although you get the extra bump combo and the Fiend Slayer on the Ascended version, it doesn't work well with the strike shot. Yeah, Fiend Slayer, if you have a Fiend Slayer, there's not many water Fiend Slayers out. Well, there is like Origa's like there, but you wouldn't ascend him just for Origa. So I think Evolve's better just because of stats. But it is a toss-up depending on your preference. And his Ascended materials are pretty hard. Let's see. You need 4 Death Arcs, so that's Death Arcs are Ascended or extreme level quests. And you can't beat Death Arc. He is relatively easy, but if you don't have the monsters to do it, then you could die easily. So you need 4 of them to ascend him, so I don't think that's good. But if you have nothing better, in terms of green monsters, he is okay. I don't think you want to waste a Divine Shard either, but like I said, this series of monsters are not really good. They're not really keepers. They are good right now, but they fall off really fast when the next series comes. So let's look at the light monster. Minesweeper for the ability, bounce, high speed, and strike shot like Oda Nobunaga and Mustang. Moves allies on contact, homing 8. He can ascend and evolve as well. Evolve version first. Minesweeper and a gauge of no gravity barrier. Speeds high. Homing 12 instead of 8 for his bump combo. Strike shot is the same. Let's look at this Ascended version. Minesweeper, strike shot's the same, but the bump combo has changed. It's a blast and a piercing homing 4. Now for me, it has to be the Evolve version. If you do the Ascended version, then you shouldn't. But why did I choose the Evolve version is that gauge of no gravity barrier. That's it. That's the only reason why, because it works better with his strike shot. Because strike shot, you have to contact the ally to move them. If you get caught by a no gravity barrier, then you're screwed. You won't hit that many allies. Gravity barrier is really important for this monster because he has high speed as well, and homing 12 is pretty good for farming normal dungeons as well. So choose Evolve. If you can ascend and then evolve, that's fine, but you can waste a Divine Shard on this. I think for me, in terms of ranking, Fire One's number 1, Yellow 2, I think Water 3, Green 4, and then Dark 5. Dark is okay, he's very niche, but Green is Green, I don't really like Green that much. He's not good. He's not relatively good in terms of monsters now, and he's not good later on either. Red and Yellow are okay in terms of monsters now, but they do fall off later on. So if you want to roll or don't roll, that's your choice. Like I said in all my other videos, it's more of what you need and what you want. Hope it's more informative and you like them. And I'll see you next time. Bye.